The fluorescent lights of the grocery store glared down on the tense standoff. Melissa gripped her son Liam's arm as he confronted the angry woman before them. "How dare you talk to my son that way?" The older woman, Karen, spat, her face contorted with rage. Liam stood his ground, his broad shoulders squared. "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but you can't just put your hands on people like that." His deep voice was laced with controlled fury. It had started moments ago, when Liam had bumped into Karen's cart, accidentally knocking a few items to the floor. Before he could apologize, the older woman had lashed out, slapping him hard across the face. Melissa's heart pounded. She pulled Liam back, putting herself between the two. "Please, let's all just calm down." Her voice wavered, but she kept her tone even. Karen's eyes narrowed to slits. "Calm down. Your son needs to learn some respect." She jabbed an accusatory finger at Liam. Liam's jaw tightened. "I said I was sorry. There's no call for you to put your hands on me." The tension crackled in the air as the two stared each other down. Melissa glanced around nervously, hoping someone would intervene. But the other shoppers kept their distance, pretending not to notice the confrontation. "I will not tolerate this kind of behavior," Karen shouted, her face reddening. "I'm going to call the police and have you arrested for assault." Liam's eyes widened in disbelief. "Assault? You're the one who slapped me." Melissa placed a hand on Liam's arm, trying to calm him. "Please, let's just leave. There's no need to escalate this." But Liam shook his head, his expression hardening. "No, Mom. I'm not going to let her get away with this." He turned to Karen, his voice low and dangerous. "You have no idea who you're messing with." Karen's confidence faltered as she registered the threat in Liam's tone. She hesitated, suddenly unsure. Melissa's grip on Liam's arm tightened. "Liam, please, let's just go," she pleaded with her eyes, silently begging him to walk away. But Liam was unmoved. His gaze remained locked on Karen, an undercurrent of barely contained rage simmering beneath the surface. "You put your hands on me in front of my mother. That's not something I'm going to let slide." Karen's bravado returned as she sensed Liam's mother's unease. "Oh, I see. So you think just because you're some big, tough guy, I'm going to be intimidated." She let out a harsh laugh. "Well, I've got news for you, Sonny. I don't care who you think you are. No one talks to me that way." Liam's eyes narrowed. "I'm the starting linebacker for the varsity football team. My coach is the father of one of the school board members. You really want to test me?" Karen's face went pale. The realization of who she was dealing with dawned on her, and her bravado began to crumble. Melissa seized the opportunity, tugging on Liam's arm. "Liam, let's go. Please, let's just leave." Liam hesitated, his gaze still fixed on Karen. Then, with a curt nod, he turned and followed his mother out of the store, leaving the stunned Karen in their wake. As they walked to the car, Melissa could feel the tension radiating off Liam. His jaw was clenched, and his fists were balled at his sides. "Liam, I know you're upset, but you can't just go around threatening people," Melissa said, her voice soft but firm. Liam let out a frustrated sigh. "Mom, you saw what she did. She put her hands on me in front of you. I couldn't just let that slide." Melissa nodded, understanding his anger. "I know, honey, but getting into a confrontation with her could have made things so much worse. We don't know how far she might have taken it." Liam ran a hand through his hair, his expression troubled. I couldn't stand the thought of her getting away with it. After everything we've been through, I wasn't going to let some entitled Karen walk all over me." Melissa reached out and squeezed his arm. "I know, Liam, but you're better than that. You've worked so hard to turn your life around, and I don't want to see you jeopardize that." Liam's shoulders slumped, and he nodded reluctantly. "You're right, Mom. I lost my cool for a second. I'm sorry." Melissa pulled him into a hug, relief washing over her. It's okay, sweetheart. I'm just glad we got out of there without things escalating further. As they climbed into the car, Liam's mind raced. He couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't the last they'd seen of Karen. Something told him this confrontation was just the beginning. Over the next few days, Liam couldn't shake the unsettling feeling that Karen was up to something. Every time he stepped out of the house, he found himself scanning the neighborhood, half expecting to see her lurking around the corner. His fears were confirmed when, a week later, he received a call from the school's vice principal. "Liam, I'm afraid I have some troubling news," the stern-voiced administrator said. "We've received a complaint from one of the parents, and it's regarding an incident that took place at the grocery store last week." Liam's heart sank. What kind of complaint? "The parent, a Mrs. Karen Simmons, has accused you of assaulting her and making threats. She's demanding that you be suspended from the football team and face disciplinary action." Liam's blood boiled. "That's ridiculous. She's the one who slapped me first." "I understand your frustration, Liam, but the school has to take these allegations seriously. We'll need you to come in and discuss the matter further." Liam clenched his jaw, his mind racing. This couldn't be happening. After all the hard work he put in to turn his life around, he couldn't let some vindictive Karen ruin everything. "Liam, are you there?" The vice principal's voice cut through his thoughts. "Yes, I'm here," Liam replied, his voice tight. "When do you need me to come in?" As he hung up the phone, Melissa emerged from the kitchen, her brow furrowed with concern. "Liam, what's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost." Liam sighed heavily. "Karen filed a complaint against me at school. She's trying to get me suspended from the football team." Melissa's eyes widened in disbelief. "What? But you were the one who was assaulted." Liam nodded grimly. "I know, Mom, but it doesn't matter. The school has to take her complaint seriously, and now I have to go in and try to explain myself." Melissa pulled her son into a tight hug, her heart aching for him. "Oh, Liam, I'm so sorry. We'll figure this out, I promise." Liam hugged her back, the weight of the situation bearing down on him. He couldn't let Karen win, not after everything he'd fought for. The next day, Liam sat across from the vice principal, his stomach in knots. Karen sat beside him, her lips pursed in a self-satisfied smirk. "Mr. Simmons has provided a detailed account of the incident at the grocery store," the vice principal said, his brow furrowed with concern. "He claims you verbally threatened him and became physically aggressive." Liam's jaw tightened. "That's not what happened at all. She's the one who slapped me first. I was just trying to defuse the situation." The vice principal nodded, his expression grave. "I understand your perspective, Liam, but the school has to take these allegations seriously. Mrs. Simmons is demanding disciplinary action, and we can't ignore that." Karen seized the opportunity, her voice dripping with false concern. "I'm just worried for the safety of the other students, Mr. Harrington. Liam has a history of violent outbursts, and I don't want anyone else to get hurt." Liam's eyes widened in disbelief. "What? That's a lie. I've never had any incidents like that at school." The vice principal held up a hand, silencing Liam. "I'm afraid I have to take Mrs. Simmons' concerns into account, Liam. As of now, you're suspended from the football team pending a full investigation." Liam felt his heart drop. "But Mr. Harrington, you can't do this. The football season is just starting, and I've worked so hard to." "I'm sorry, Liam, but my hands are tied," the vice principal interrupted. "Unless you can provide compelling evidence to the contrary, the suspension will stand." Liam's gaze shifted to Karen, who was now wearing a triumphant smile. In that moment, he knew that this was just the beginning of her crusade against him. As Liam left the vice principal's office, his mind was reeling. How could this be happening? He had worked so hard to turn his life around, and now it was all being threatened by a vindictive woman with a personal vendetta. Melissa was waiting for him, her expression a mix of concern and determination. "Liam, What happened? Are you suspended from the team? Liam nodded, his jaw clenched tight. Yeah, Mom. Karen filed some bogus complaint, and the vice principal had no choice but to suspend me pending an investigation. Melissa's eyes widened in disbelief. But that's not fair. You were the one who was assaulted. How can they just take her word over yours? Liam shrugged helplessly. I don't know, Mom. But she's managed to convince them that I'm some kind of violent troublemaker. And now my whole season is in jeopardy. Melissa pulled him into a tight hug, her heart breaking for her son. Oh, Liam, I'm so sorry. We're going to fight this, I promise. We're not going to let her get away with this. Liam hugged her back, feeling a surge of determination. You're right, Mom. I'm not going to let her ruin everything I've worked for. I'm going to prove that she's the one who's lying, no matter what it takes. As they walked to the car, Liam's mind was racing, trying to figure out how he could turn the tables on Karen. He knew that he had to act fast before her lies had a chance to take root and ruin his chances of playing football this season. But little did he know, Karen had only just begun her campaign of vengeance. The battle lines had been drawn, and the stakes were higher than either of them could have imagined. Over the next few days, Liam and Melissa worked tirelessly to build a case against Karen's allegations. They reached out to the other shoppers who had witnessed the incident, hoping to find someone who could corroborate Liam's side of the story. However, their efforts were met with resistance at every turn. Many of the witnesses were reluctant to get involved, fearing retaliation from the powerful and well-connected Karen. Others simply claimed they didn't remember the details clearly. Liam's frustration grew with each dead end. This is so unfair, Mom. Why is everyone just letting her get away with this? Melissa placed a comforting hand on his arm. I know, honey, but we can't give up. We have to keep fighting, no matter how hard it gets. Just then, Liam's phone buzzed with a text from his football coach. His heart sank as he read the message. Coach wants to see me in his office. This can't be good. Melissa squeezed his hand. It's going to be okay, Liam. Just tell him the truth, and he'll understand. Liam nodded, though he couldn't shake the feeling of dread that was building in the pit of his stomach. When he arrived at the coach's office, the man's expression was stern and unreadable. Liam, I'm afraid I have some bad news, the coach said, his voice grave. The school board has decided to uphold the suspension, and you're off the team for the rest of the season. Liam felt the blood drain from his face. What? But coach, you know I didn't do anything wrong. Karen's the one ho. The coach held up a hand, silencing him. I know, son, but the decision has been made, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm sorry. Liam's world seemed to crumble around him. All the hard work, the sacrifices, the dreams of a college scholarship, gone in the blink of an eye. As he left the office, Liam felt a surge of anger and despair. Karen had won, and he had no idea how he was going to come back from this. Melissa's heart broke as she watched Liam walk through the door, his face etched with devastation. Liam, what happened? She asked, her voice trembling with concern. Liam's shoulders slumped, and he sank down onto the couch. They upheld the suspension, Mom. I'm off the team for the rest of the season. Melissa pulled him into a tight hug, her own eyes brimming with tears. Oh, Liam, I'm so sorry. This isn't fair at all. Liam clung to her, his body shaking with silent sobs. I worked so hard, Mom. I was finally on the right track, and now it's all been taken away. Melissa rubbed his back soothingly. I know, sweetheart. But we're not going to give up. We're going to keep fighting this, no matter what it takes. Liam pulled back, his eyes red-rimmed. How, Mom? Everyone's too scared to speak up against Karen. She's got the whole school board wrapped around her finger. Melissa cupped his face in her hands, her expression resolute. Then we'll take it higher. We'll go to the superintendent, the school board, whoever we have to. We're not going to let her win. Liam searched his mother's face, a glimmer of hope reigniting in his chest. You really think we can do this? Melissa nodded firmly. I know we can, Liam. You've worked too hard to let some entitled Karen take all of that away from you. Liam took a deep breath, a newfound determination settling over him. Okay, Mom, let's do this. With a renewed sense of purpose, the two of them set out to take on the formidable force that was Karen Simmons, determined to restore Liam's reputation and his place on the football team.